Welcome to Cardamom Chai Podcast with Roma and Jasnor. I'm Jasnor.
Hi everyone, this is your host Roma. Thanks for joining us on this week's episode. We will be sort of talking about travel related stuff, whether tips or anything else in general. But first, how was your week, Jasnor?
My week was good. I finished a long book series that I've been reading for about 4 weeks now.
Okay.
And it took me a while to get into the book series. It took me like half of the first book. It was a dedication.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I was like, I will push through it. And luckily for me that I did, because it turned out really, really good, and I did finish it this week. It's called the Licanius trilogy.
Okay.
It's by James Islington, and it's about, fantasy books are really hard to describe what they're about because there's so much going on. But essentially there's people that have powers. There are people who don't have any powers. There's people who have powers to see into the future. And apparently some bad things are going to happen in the future. I didn't get into the book until there was one character that got transported 70 years back in time. And that's when I got hooked. If you want to read it, make it to that point and you'll get interested.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so this is the author that wrote Will of the Many, which is a book that I read last year and I absolutely loved. So I decided to check this series out, and it was really, really good. Like, I'm not gonna say it wasn't. It was really, really good, but I do prefer the Will of the Many better. And that's a second, I guess, series. Yeah, so I've been enjoying that, and now finished it, so I'm now looking for another book to read. If you guys have any recommendation, I'd love to hear some.
So I actually took your idea from a couple of weeks ago about listening to books, and I started reading one book or listening to a book on Apple Books. I went with the cheaper way rather than going through Audible, because Apple Books are free. Some books on there are free, so I just wanted to see if I would stick to it, and then so the book I have been listening to is The Secret Garden.
Okay. Yeah. Very popular.
It's good so far. I think I'm on like chapter 3rd right now, and I started a week before, so not so bad given my reading history. I'm not a huge reader, but I like this idea. I like that, because I used to think that you have to really like pay attention to it, because I don't think I can listen and do other things at the same time when it comes to books. For shows I can, but for books I cannot. That's what I used to think. But then I started listening to it, and with like some tasks, it's been working fine. Yeah. So I like the idea.
You know what makes a really good audiobook is the narrator. Like, they have to be really good. And I've picked up some books where the narrator has been just bad. Like, I don't like the sound of their voice, I don't like their accent, or I don't like how they say things, or their pacing even. And I will put the book down. I'm like, no, this book is not for me. And it'll turn me off from the book, no matter if like I actually would like the book if I read it.
Yeah.
So those books I kind of save on the back of my head and be like, okay, you hated the narrator, but if you want to give it a chance to read the book, actually, this would be one. And the best narrator to this day that I've found is the guy who narrated Harry Potter books. And his name is Jim Dale. And he's actually won awards for his audiobooks narrations.
Wow, okay.
And like the Harry Potter books were also narrated by Stephen Fry, and he's really popular as well. Like, he's a really, really well-known entertainer and narrator. And I don't like him. I prefer Jim Dale. The best narration I've heard to date.
Wow, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, like you actually like feel like you're like listening to different people talk because of how good he is at different voices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also a skill.
Yeah, it is. It is a skill that
Nice.
I don't think I can do. If I was to ever like record an audiobook, it would sound so monotonous and boring, like someone reading off a textbook.
Yeah, it is a skill to have, right? To be able to come up with different, not just voices, but also accents. If it's an older person speaking versus a younger adult or like a kid speaking, right? Like they come up with different voices and everything.
Or like male or versus female.
Yep.
Yeah, and if like there's like an Irish accent in there or a British accent in there.
Yeah.
If they're terrible at it, people will pick up on it.
Yeah.
How was your week, Roma?
My week was fantastic. I was on a travel break for the whole week.
Nice.
We went to a couple of countries in the Europe, so Paris and Amsterdam. And Brussels for like half a day. But so that was the motivation, I guess, sort of for today's episode as well, to talk about travel and what goes on and off and all of that.
Yeah, nice.
Yes.
What was the best part of your vacation?
The best part was undeniably the food.
Yeah.
They just, in Europe, the food quality is just something different than what we experience here in North America, is what I noticed. The food tastes more real. The breads are soft, like baguettes. If you have any sandwiches, usually they make sandwiches with a baguette. And those things are not chewy. They don't break your teeth. They're very soft somehow.
Nice.
The butter is exceptionally better there than here. I don't know how or why, but it's just different there. Any produce, I mentioned about produce before as well, but that stuff is also amazing. Very real stuff.
Yeah.
It's just quality, man. That was the best part.
Awesome. What was your favorite dish, or was it just bread in general?
Few things here and there. So we tried in Brussels. We tried chocolate covered strawberries.
Yeah.
It's a cup in which they have strawberries, and they just literally pour the liquid chocolate syrup on
I've seen that on TikTok,
which is real Belgium chocolate.
Yeah.
And it's like real Belgium chocolate.
Oh, nice.
And it was amazing. Like that was one of the highlights. Another thing was we went to the viral Karat. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. If I'm not, whatever. It's the hot chocolate place. The hot chocolate with the whipped cream that they give you on the side. Everyone tries that in Paris.
Okay,
So we tried it, and dipping the croissant in it. Croissant. You want to pronounce that right. That was like one of the best things that I've ever tried. It was just like on point. Like it cannot go wrong. Like if you don't like chocolate, even then you would like this thing.
Yeah.
We tried strawberries as well in Paris, and they were so juicy and just very soft.
Nice.
Which I don't experience here. And I really like strawberries, so it was a big deal for me. What else? Some of the Indian food we tried was unbelievably good.
Yeah. You tried Indian food?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, as well. Like I don't like. I would want, like, we were there for a whole week, so like a couple of times out of the whole week, we would be having the Indian food. Also helps with digestion when you be eating so much breads all the time. But yeah, some of the Indian food there, that was amazing. Surprisingly, the pizza we had was just mediocre, which I was surprised about, because I would assume that pizza would actually be really well done there.
I mean,
but it was okay.
You have to go to Italy for best pizza.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, that would be the main place for pizza.
Well, actually, when I said what was your favorite dish, it reminded me of something really funny. So, do you know Demi Lovato?
Yeah.
So she got asked on like one of these red carpets, like, what's your favorite dish?
Yeah.
And she replied like a really nice big mug.
What? Mug?
Yeah, like
Oh, dish. Oh, dish. Because that's a type of dish.
Yeah.
She's not wrong though.
She is not. But that's not where people's minds go. I just got reminded of that because I was like, I asked her for a dish. She knows what I'm talking about, but some people might not. Funny. So should we move on to travel tips?
I'll give the first one based on my very recent experience. Is do not overestimate your arrival day. Doesn't matter what time of the day you are arriving. I think also depending on how far you are traveling from. If you're traveling from Canada to Paris, then it's easily like 8 to 9 hours of flight.
Yeah.
Considering the time difference and what time of the day the flight is flying, ours was overnight as well from here. And we got to Paris at like 3 a.m. here, like Calgary time, which was like 11 a.m. there. So I think if you're traveling for a lesser time and if your time zones are pretty close, then doesn't really matter. You wouldn't be as tired. But the point is that it's possible to just get very tired, and you may not be calculating, the amount of time it could get you at the immigration desk, just because it's a different country, and how the traffic would be at a certain time of the day in that city. And just the sheer time that went on the flight where you sat down for like 9 hours, I think that was tiring enough.
Yeah.
To just be sitting down for 9 hours too. Not to mention the mental load of flying. I hate flying. Like if I could, I would avoid it at any cost.
Yeah.
But obviously it's not completely possible. So, there is that mental load as well. So anyway, this is that. But like this one time when we traveled from Calgary to California, it was only 3 hours direct flight.
Yeah.
Even then I was tired, bro.
Oh no.
I was going to my one of my best friend's houses. So it wasn't even like anything formal or that's something we had to figure out or anything. They came to pick us up and then they were taking us around, and I was not ready to move from like one spot. I just wanted to sit there because the wind was blowing so nice and it was like, so like chill, and I just wanted to like sit there and sleep. And I mean, it was only 3 hours even then.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of my things is as a tip is make things very light for the first day, or if you have to miss that first day from actually exploring, then be ready for that. Like don't count that first day as one of the days of the trip. Count that as a travel day.
Would you recommend someone getting in earlier in the day or the evening?
I would recommend evening, just because then that way you don't, although it's the same thing. It's almost the same thing. So most of let me break it down here. So if you go in the evening, then most of the day you are spending in the flight if you are traveling like that. But the easy thing is you sleep right away. As soon as you get to your hotel and everything, you can finish your sleep, and then you're ready and up to go the next day, so you don't feel like you missed out on a day. If you go early in the morning, then you would have been in a flight overnight. So now you would be super tired throughout the day, right? So, and if there's time difference and everything, another side of the thing is everyone gets room accommodations usually around 3 or 4 o'clock in the day.
Yes.
Right? So that's something you have to look out for, is if you plan your arrival accordingly so that you don't have to wait for your accommodation for so many hours and go around the city and explore with your bag everywhere.
Yeah.
And I saw that like at every place we went to, I saw a lot of people just going around everywhere with their carry-ons because that was the only thing that they had brought.
Yeah.
So that's something you have to consider. So I would, if I had a choice, I would prefer like towards the evening.
Yeah.
Getting somewhere towards the evening. That way you have the accommodation right away and you don't feel like you're missing out on a day or anything. You can count your travel day as the next day onwards.
Yeah. No, I would agree with you. I would try to get in the evening, so you can go out for dinner and then just go to bed.
True.
And then so you feel like, oh, you saw a little bit and you had a taste, and then you go to sleep and you rest, and then the next day you wake up fresh, ready to go. And I suffer from migraines, and especially when traveling, I definitely will get a migraine no matter what. And I definitely need a day to like recover from that. I don't do well on planes either. Just not my thing. Okay, well, a tip that I would have for traveling is pack light. You do not need a huge suitcase to lug around, especially if you are just vacationing. If you're going to live somewhere for like 2 months, like that's different. But if you are just going to travel and like, you want to see the sights, you want to really visit the city, just pack light. Like a carry-on is enough, and have different outfit options with the same like set of like basics, so that you can turn like a t-shirt and a skirt into like a t-shirt and pants, or like a skirt and a sweater type thing, so that you have variation in your outfits, but you're not lugging around like a million things, and it's easy to just kind of get up and go. I have a question for you. Do you usually like pick separate elements of clothing out, or do you actually pick like whole outfits, like this is the dress I'm wearing, these are the shoes, this is the accessory, this is outfit for day number 1, and day number 2, these are like the shirt, the pants?
For accessories, I don't bother at all. I would, if anything, I would have a watch and maybe like the couple of regular rings that I wear. That's it. Or maybe a pair of earrings that I'm wearing from here in the flight, because it's my regular go-to. So accessory wise, I don't even bother. When it comes to outfits, if it's a dress, then there would be like, okay, this dress for this day and this dress for second day or whatever. But when it's just top and pants, then I don't really go with outfit wise. I would just go with like, okay, 2 pairs of pants, 5 pairs of tops, and this should get me by, because I can alternate the pants and rotate the tops with different pants and everything. But when I'm planning everything beforehand, then I do write it down in terms of outfit, but then eventually I know that it's only like 2 pairs of pants and 5 pairs of tops.
Okay, nice.
Shoes wise, I would only go with the normal shoes, because see, the thing is, unless it's Paris or a very pretty place like that where you really want to take nice pictures, it usually boils down to just exploring the place. It's not a lot about pictures, in my opinion. Like what my experience or our experience has been, it's not huge on pictures. Like it's more about going to see a place or experiencing the vibe of the place, or going for food somewhere, or even if it's like a pretty place, just taking a selfie, or asking a stranger to take a couple of pictures. But then even then, it's like, okay, whatever outfit you're wearing should be good enough for the picture, because you are wearing that outfit for that. Like I don't think it really matters that you have to like be so prepared to be dressed up and take so many outfits. So you're right, like I think packing light, if you are going for a shorter trip, it just is so helpful, because say for example, if your flight is arriving early in the morning and you had no other option but to pick that flight, then now you only have like one luggage to take around with you, which is not very bothersome. That's what I normally do. I also don't really prefer doing laundry anywhere else either.
No, me either.
So so I do take enough of innerwear that I don't run out of those. But clothes wise, I can repeat those. So I do is like, okay, I need I'm there 5 days, so I need
5 pairs of like undergarments, and well, I need 2 more in case I need to change early, and I need a couple more if I lose them or they get ripped up or something. So I end up packing like 10 just in case.
Yeah.
And then I only end up using the 5. I think that's the one area where I'm like over prepared.
Another thing I have is book your place, hotel or Airbnb or whatever, close to the main attractions that you want to cover. Okay, so not the attractions that are popular, but the attractions you want to cover, just so then you would save time and money on commute a lot. Mainly time, I would say. Just like new place, it's hard to figure out navigation anyway. On top of that, trying to figure out Uber and, you know, worrying about not getting scammed through taxis and things like that, and what train goes where and all. And the train system in Europe is so complicated, actually. Everything's underground, first of all. And Paris, what we noticed was all the trains were interconnected, all underground. So you would get off from one train, and underground you walk to another station and take a train. Like, it was, I wouldn't be able to make sense of it otherwise. So it's already difficult trying to navigate that. So if it's just closer, then it's easier. Like, it is true that when there is rush season, right? Like when there is like peak season, like summer, obviously there's going to be a lot of tourists there. So if people don't really like that type of atmosphere to be living in, then sure, like get in a quieter place. But I like that, like, you know, if I don't really want to be in a very quiet place when I'm traveling, because I can go to a quieter place, travel and go somewhere. But when I'm like living, you know, like the daily lifestyle, then in a bit of a touristy area makes more sense.
Yeah, no, that definitely is the best option, just so that you can just kind of get up and go, and you don't have to think twice about where everything is and how to get there. Well, a tip that I would have is kind of plan all the things that you want to hit, and have it so that there's, let's say that you're there for 5 days and you want to hit specifically 5 places. Have it so that you're booking like a ticket to, let's say, a museum, for example, on one day, and that's the only thing you've scheduled. Maybe you've scheduled a dinner on that day, but leave some room for exploring. Leave some room for new things that might pop up that you were just seeing while you're in the city, or wherever you are. And also plan as well, so in case there's nothing that you see there that you were like excited by, plan accordingly so that you have something scheduled and you have something set out for each day, but you have room to kind of maneuver and do things in between that you might see around and look cool and everything. So leave a lot of room for flexibility while having like a dedicated schedule as well.
Yeah, that's a great point, because, you know, we see a lot on social media on, you know, you must see these places when you're, you know, in so and so place in the world and things like that. So people usually have all these checklists right beforehand that they want to cover and all. I don't know, it usually, in my experience, it has always led into tired days and not exciting at the end of the day, and just you feel like, okay, did I just do, you don't have feeling of what you did today. It's more like, okay, I just finished the checklist, but did I like actually enjoy the vibe of the place? So this was actually also an advice I got from someone else before as well, is, you know, try to like just explore the place rather than having to go through your checklist all the time. And you know what helps with this, Jasnoor, is also having the Google Maps on your phone, where you can actually flag the locations of what you want to see, because that way you can pick a particular area where one of your flags are and just be there and explore that area.
Yeah, that's a great point, because then you don't have to worry about traveling here and then you're going somewhere else and then you're back there and then
Yeah.
all of that. So that's a really, really great tip.
Another thing I have is pack your basic medicines.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a need. I think it's a need because you mentioned you would normally have migraines and everything, and I know sleep would be one medicine for it, but in emergencies, a tablet might be needed. And you never know when you may actually fall sick because of new weather that you may not be prepared for and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I had that actually on the first day. I think my body was just so confused in between weathers, and I actually got sick, and I took Advil and I fell asleep, and that's how I was able to be okay. So basic medicines is like basic first aid kit. Taking that, like especially band-aids, man. Okay, I don't know if it's just me, or usually when you're traveling you walk a lot, right? So you are not normally used to walking that much, like not 20,000 steps every day, and so your shoes bug you after a while, and so we had to buy band-aids from there because I had blisters in one of my toes. So just like being prepared for small things like that would just be very convenient in that case, right? And just always like having shoes and all, because usually exploring involves a lot of walking, unless you want to spend some time taking photos and all, in which case you were dressed in heels and all. I did see some people wore heels, like huge.
Really?
Yeah, and in like a museum just now.
Oh my God.
And walking through the whole museum in heels, and I was feeling for their feet because me being in my shoes, my feet were hurting. So I'm like, I think their feet are probably numb by now.
That I can't even imagine how people are able to do that. Insane.
So yeah, basic medicines, you guys, that's needed.
Another thing I would say is attend a local event. So if it's like a night market or like a food festival or anything that might be happening, attend a local event, because that's where you're going to get to meet the locals and not just the tourists who are doing the same things as you are.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get to experience a little bit of the local life if you do attend a local event. I think that's a great way to kind of see what the place is about, what the people are like, and really get a feel for the place and appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah, and there are actually, did you know about Airbnb experiences? So how Airbnb has the booking place, right? Like you book places on there, but it also has another side of it where you can book experiences. So a lot of local artists or photographers or bakery people, they are selling experiences on Airbnb. So for example, you can book photography on there. You can book making croissants from scratch on there.
Okay.
And someone who would be an expert at it would have put that ad on there, and you can read all the reviews. It's just the same as booking a place on Airbnb.
Nice.
Very convenient in that case.
Yeah, no, that's a great thing to have available, because sometimes you don't know where the website for some of these local things might be. So if you can find it from Airbnb, that's great.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's a great point on trying to do something that's local there and trying local food.
Yes, that's a must. That's like we don't even need to say it. I think that's just, if you're somewhere new, try what they eat, and because you're never going to get that experience of that authentic food anywhere else, no matter where you are. Like I know like all the places do like a lot of different foods, but you're never quite getting the same taste as where it came from.
Okay, another thing I can say is learn the method of commute in advance. So whether it's because a lot of places have 1-day pass if you are taking, transit, so trains or buses and all. A lot of places have 1-day pass, or they would have a 2-day combined pass, or 1 week or 1 month sort of thing. Anyway, that would be something to just figure out in advance. Some places even offer like access to museums and all that along with the transit pass. So I know Paris and Amsterdam, they both had things like that. But if you don't know these things in advance, then you would end up spending a lot more money when you could be actually taking advantage of the deals that they have with the transit pass. So if you know in advance that, okay, there's this app from which you can buy the ticket, or this app is what tells you, how to commute from this place to this place, and what bus to take or what train to take, and just gives you a whole route. It just makes things so much easier when you are there trying to figure out things. Like, we really don't realize how uncommon English language is actually in other parts of the world. We obviously in Paris and Amsterdam there is French and Dutch languages, and you can't, like, obviously they speak English, but all the writing is in French or Dutch. At public places there were ticket machines that were fully in French, and we had to go to another ticket machine, only hoping that hopefully this has the English language on it, so that we can navigate through the machine to get tickets for the transit. So things like that.
Do you know that there's an app that you can use so that it'll actually translate everything on your screen?
I did have Google Translate on my phone.
Is it the one that you can just like kind of scan a photo?
Yeah,
okay.
Google Translate does have the photo thing, but I figured that out on the last day.
Oh no.
So until then I used to type in everything.
Oh no. There is another app I have used it before, but I can't remember the name because it's been a few years, other than Google Translate, because I didn't know Google Translate could do that now. But you used to be able to just kind of like scan, like just hold up a camera to whatever it was you wanted translated, and it would translate it on screen for you, which is cool. I wish I told you that before.
I wish I had figured out that Google Translate did that, because I used to type everything, and it was because I'm also a very curious person. I want to know what all the signs on the bus are saying, or what the signs on the train, what are they saying, and what's this word in on the menu, like, is it meat or is it a cheese, like, I don't know. So just out of curiosity as well, I wanted to know, so I used to like type everything manually, trying to figure out what it's saying. But yeah, that's another sort of a shocker, is how uncommon English is when it comes to signs. Again, people speak English. I'm not saying that, they don't. But signs are mainly in their actual regional languages that you can't do anything about that. So
yeah, definitely. Another thing that I would say is find the right travel partner. So for us, it's easy and it's kind of a given that it would be our husbands, but a lot of people do not have partners that they want to go with or that option available to them. So if you're ever considering like traveling with a friend, with a couple of friends or family or what have you, pick the right partner. So some people are more adventurous and they want to just go and do all the things, and some people just want a vacation and kind of relax and do nothing and just kind of sit by the beach and read a book or something, right? So if you are stuck with that type of person and you are the one wanting to see everything, you're gonna hate it and you're gonna feel like you're on a vacation by yourself, and it's gonna be a lot more inconvenient if you were by yourself, because you have to keep the other person's feelings into consideration, right? So pick the right partner and have an open discussion. Like, what do you want from this vacation? Do you want to just rest? Do you want to do activities or something in the middle? Are you open to trying more adventure type activities, or do you want to just like sightsee? Like, what is your specific way to see the place? And only book it with that person. And I would even be like, maybe try a day trip with that person beforehand, because you never know. You never know what someone could turn out, how they could turn out. And before you commit to something expensive and long, do a day trip and see how that goes for you. And if that goes well, then I would say jump into it, because vacation with someone who doesn't want to do the same things as you is kind of a pointless one. You'd rather just go on your own at that point.
Yeah. Or, another way of looking at this is go on vacation with people. That way you can figure out whether they are for you or not.
That's true. That's a good test. Yeah.
That's one way of looking at it, because
that's an expensive test.
Yeah. It would be an expensive one, but yeah, you're absolutely right, because when you travel, you really get to see someone up close and personal, because it's possible you would be sharing room if you're staying in hostels, or you could be sharing the place if you have booked an Airbnb, or even there are hotel rooms with double beds and things like that. You could be sharing the room with the person as well, and you really get to learn the level of cleanliness that they adapt to, or how flexible they are, how spontaneous they are, or whether they are not spontaneous at all and they do only what they have decided in their heads, and things like that. So you really learn a lot more about the other person, and you can decide whether you like that or not about them.
Yeah.
So they even say that have a trip actually with your partner before you get married, if you want to learn more about them, because it's a very similar. It's almost like living together with them, because traveling is expensive already, so people really want to just do anything that they prefer during that time. So it's important. But somehow, just don't you agree that one person in any relationship is usually the one who wants to wake up and see the sunrise, and the other person wants to sleep in and just start their day at like 11 with a brunch?
I'm not going to say that's our relationship, because it's not, because we're both the type of people who are like, get up at 6 a.m. in the morning, watch the sunrise, go get a coffee, and then go on a hike or something. So me and my husband, we're lucky to say that we're the same type of traveler. Like, we're the type of people who are like, go, sightsee, do adventurous activities, and then have one day to kind of rest in there. We've figured out a really, really good schedule that works for us, and we've never been at a point where like someone wants to do something and the other person does not. But in our normal daily life, my husband is the one who would wake up early and I would be in bed. So you can never tell what a person might be on vacation, because I'm a different person.
That is true, actually. Yeah. Just being on vacation is motivating enough for you to be able to wake up in the morning and be happy about it.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm a grumpy mess in the morning.
Yeah, that was a good one. Also, I have one more. Don't pressure yourself to see all the attractions. I mean, I don't know if I've mentioned this already, but I think at the end of the day, what you will remember is your memory and what you felt at a certain place, and the silly thing you did, or something that happened out of nowhere. Things like that is what you would actually remember after a few months or a few years that would pass by, rather than going like, oh yeah, we saw this and we saw this, but like, what is it even getting you when you go, when you tell everyone that yeah, we saw this and yeah, we've been here? I don't know, it doesn't really give me any sense of like, oh yeah, I have seen this place, I've seen the people of this place, I really like this place, I would want to move here. Things like that, you don't really say that unless you feel the place, and unless you talk to the locals there and try to understand their lifestyle and the way they communicate with each other. And like I'll give you an example. In Amsterdam, we were there on like on a Wednesday or something, and people were having coffee for literally hours because we saw them coming in when we grabbed the coffee, and then we were taking off to explore. And then once we were back after hours, they were still sitting there sipping on the coffee.
God.
So
Nice.
and it was a Wednesday afternoon, so that was such a shocker for me, because I'm like, that's not really a practice here in North America. So when you like see things like that, you really observe. Like I even had this one incident that I observed where the coffee shop owner, he was like, hey, like, would you like coffee on us while you wait for so and so person and things like that. And I'm like, really? Like there was no emphasis on trying to like make a buck every time there's a new person in the store. It's more about relationship building and respect and all of that. So just observing things like that is what you will actually take away from your trip, rather than oh yeah, I saw this place which it took us like 3 hours to get there because it was like so busy and the trains were so full all the time, or the traffic was so bad and it took us 3 hours. Like that's the type of memory you would have usually when you go through a checklist and go like, okay, I want to see all the attractions of this place. So anyway, I don't prefer doing that. I would prefer not doing that.
Nice. That's a good note to end the travel tips on. Definitely agree with you there. Is enjoying the place that you're at and not rushing through it. All right, Roma, before we wrap up the episode, what is your favorite thing this week?
When I was there, I bought a couple of different types of cheese and a couple of different types of cheese dip, and I've been liking it. I'm not a huge cheese person, you know that. I don't really prefer eating cheese, but when I see people there eating literally cheese on like a toothpick and dipping it in a cheese dip and eating that, I have never understood the idea of charcuterie boards with like cheese charcuterie boards. Because I'm like, who can eat cheese like that? Like, I would never be able to eat cheese like that. But I know it's so good. It would be. I mean, there's a point to it. But I've never really found it anything as whatever. Like, I didn't. But now that I've tried the cheese there, the authentic one, I really liked it. So we ended up getting one. And it's good.
What was the cheese?
I like it. So this one is... truffle, original truffle is the flavor of it. And the brand is Henry Willick, I think. My friend.
But what's the cheese?
What do you mean what's the cheese? It's truffle. That's the flavor of the cheese. Like, okay. I'm probably gonna not pronounce it right, but it's the Gouda cheese.
Gouda?
Or Gouda cheese. Gouda. They pronounce it, I think, the H sound as well.
Yeah, they might. I think that's really popular in Amsterdam. Yeah. No, I think I'm in America or North America. Just say Gouda.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so clearly me not pronouncing the name correctly shows I'm not really a cheese person or a charcuterie cheese board person. But this one is good. I don't know if I want to eat it every day. Because I think after like a second or third cube, it does make me want to puke again. But the first cube is good. Yeah. That's tasty.
Yeah. Are you having it with like crackers or anything?
No. So far, I've had like one slice of it, very thin one slice of it.
Okay.
And that was really just with the dip that I got from there.
I would say try it with a cracker or something, or like a jam as well. Then you would appreciate it more, I think, because just a plain block of cheese, I think that's a little bit too much. Because I can remember you. This is like a memory painted in my head of you ordering pizza and then picking off the cheese off the pizza and then eating bread and sauce, I guess.
With vegetables, just so let's not make it like so pathetic.
No, I think you ordered a cheese pizza. Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, that's what I am into this week. How about you?
Nice. I've been loving something called a purse hook. So I'll link it in the description, but it's like a circular thing, and
Okay.
you unravel like the metal part, and you can put the circular thing on your desk, and the metal parts kind of hangs down like a hook, and you can put your bag on it. You can put purse on it, so then when you're going somewhere, you're not putting your purse on the floor.
Okay.
And you know, I go to work every day, and I take my big purse with me, and I just put it on my desk. And what I've noticed over the last couple of months is that the handles have started to just fall. It's starting to lose its shape, I guess. So I've been using that hook and putting that hook on the table and hanging my bag off of it, so that it maintains it like straight shape. Yeah, and I plan to use it wherever, like if I go somewhere out and I have a nice purse, I can just pop that thing on the desk, and then there's a hook to hang the purse off of, so I'm not putting on the floor or on my chair and, you know, getting cramped or whatever.
That's convenient.
Yeah, I'll link it down in the description.
Is it magnet? Did you say it's magnet?
It's not a magnet, it's just a metal thing. Yeah, maybe I can show it to you.
Oh yeah, okay.
So it just hangs on the table because of like the pressure it takes off of the purse. It just hangs on to the table.
Nice. And it looks very nice, cute to be hanging on your table as well.
Yeah, exactly. Mine is a purple flowers design. Yeah, but I'll add it in the description, so if people want to check it out, they can. Yeah, I think it was like an invention by someone a long time ago. Who knows? The reason I know about the purse hook is because they used to sell it at Chapters, and I worked at Chapters for a long time. I never bought it when I was at Chapters because I was like, what use do I have it? I have backpacks. I don't carry nice purses. But now I'm old enough to carry purses.
Yep. No, but that looks really nice, and it would be convenient if you go to a restaurant and everything as well. That would be convenient.
Yeah, but that's it. That's it for us this week. Thanks everyone for joining us on this short and sweet episode on travel tips. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Our handle is at Cardamom Chai Podcast. And if you have any questions or you want to throw me a book recommendation, reach out to us at cardamomchaipodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
And we post a new episode every Thursday on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. So find us there.
Awesome. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Bye.